Hello everybody,
Hi, everybody!
and welcome back to Wild Horse Island. So today's going to be a big one for us. I really feel like in the last few videos I've done, like every time I do these, there's always, pricing mishaps or something going wrong with trading or just something along those lines. So today's going to be a tutorial, video on how to just trade properly, sell properly, how to price things, just everything like that, everything under the sun. I'm gonna try not to make it too long, make it like short to the point and everything, but it's been pretty hard. I mean, I just experienced it literally 30 minutes ago. I was doing a trade for this horse specifically. I mean, very pretty horse. I put the dye on myself. It didn't come with this dye. I fixed up the hair and everything. It didn't have full stats. Nothing crazy, just a nice V1 Clydesdale with a nice coat. So I'm like, okay, I know it's obviously worth a little bit of something, but again, people in this game do not understand value and they do not understand the trading. So in this game, as you guys know, when you're trading with somebody, you'll get a pop-up and one side will be theirs and one side will be yours. So usually you're trading for one horse. It's just one horse. You see their horse, you're like, hey, can I offer for it? They say yes. So you put up a bunch of horses, just showing them what you have. You're like, okay, I'm going to put up all these horses to see what you like, right? And I'm telling every single time, every time, they're going to assume that you're going to trade 12 horses for one horse. Hell no. Hell no. I am stopping this here and now, today. I've been debating on if I really wanted to go through with this because it will be hard to get horses because, like I said, people, mostly kids, I feel, do not understand horse trading in this game because it is Roblox. Technically, there is younger audience here, not always people my age playing. But at the same time, lately, even Roblox has said, the statistics have come out that mostly 18-year-olds and up are playing Roblox. It's not always kids now. So it's just kind of confusing to me when people don't understand the pricing of everything because I feel like they should be older, but I can't say that. I can't say that for sure. It is a younger audience, but I am sick of over trading for horses. Just completely over trading every time. Like this horse, for example, yes, it's a version 1 Clydesdale. You can't get them anymore. It is a nice coat, but that's the same for other events. Other events that are from the past you can't get anymore and they're pretty and they're nice. So why would I trade you 4 of my old event horses that I can't get anymore for one version 1 Clydesdale? That makes 0 sense. It's not an even trade, and I'm honestly sick of it. I mean, I try to be nice with these people when I'm trading, but it's so hard to tell them, like, hey, you only get 1, maybe 2 horses. You're not going to get 4, 5, 6 horses, unless you give me more horses as well. I don't know. I just don't think kids understand it, so I'm here to explain it to you guys. So, to equal out horse events, right? If you have any, and I mean any older horse event that was harder to get during that event, like this Percheron, for example, right? We've got the Monarch Percheron from last year's summer event. It was harder for people to get. It wasn't like it was willy-nilly everywhere, like in this Valentine's event that we have going on right now. There's these horses that are the Burgundy horses. They're a little more common to find. They're always in the market. Or the Rosy Thoroughbred. A lot of people are finding them in the wild. They're kind of easy to find. They're not going to be like the most rare event horse. So in times like that, we'll get to it. But this Monarch horse was definitely harder to get. It wasn't all over the place. You probably had to buy it if you wanted one. It wasn't just super easy on the fly. I'm trying to find another example here throughout my horses. I've been selling so many lately. Ugh, I'm so out. Okay. That's the only, I mean, I can't say the Andalusian. That one's a different story. That one's even older, I think. Okay, take this one for example, right? So back in the Halloween event, there were ghost horse. Look at this thing. It's so white you can't even see it here. There were Halloween event horses everywhere. I mean, you could go into that area they had you go in where you could jump all through the islands and then you would hopefully find a ghost horse spawn. Now, the ghost horses would spawn quite often here and there as long as you rotated quite often and probably used a private server. You'd find ghost horses no problem. But the Percherons, on the other hand, were very hard to find. Ghost Percherons are so rare, you'd have to trade an arm and a leg for them. I totally get that. But this is where people are wrong. You don't have to trade an arm and a leg for them. If you have an event Ghost Percheron, just like this one, it is worth the same amount as itself. So, like I said, so if you have this ghost Percheron, right? Say you want to trade this ghost Percheron and somebody offers up this monarch Percheron, that's a fair trade. Because this horse was also rare to find during the summer event. They're both old events. They're both really pretty. And like I said, they were both hard to find. So you should only have to trade one horse for one horse. That's how that works. End of story. I need people to really understand this. Please understand that if you have a specific hard event to find, you do not deserve 12 horses for it. It all depends. So say we have this horse, this really pretty Percheron ghost horse, and somebody's trying to trade for it, but they don't have a really pretty monarch perch that's super rare. They only have, let's say, a couple version 1 Clydesdales. They got a couple Clydesdales. Those are, they're worth money, they're valuable. They might have a couple golden horses. Again, they're valuable, but they're lower tier events. They're not big rare events. Let's say somebody has, a couple of these pink quarter horses, because those are also quite common right now in this event. Things like that. Say they've got a bunch of lower tier events. Then yes, you can trade 4 to 5 horses for this one horse, as long as they're lower tier events that you're getting. Then you get more for your buck. That makes sense. Not when you're doing the complete opposite and you're trying to get way too much out of somebody. Then you're just scamming them, basically. You're being greedy. People in this game are very greedy. I don't know why. Like, maybe they don't have time to grind, or they don't know how to grind, but I have to work for my stuff. I spend multiple hours hunting for these horses. I spend real money on them now that I have my job. I try and really collect horses and get what I can, but I work for it. I'm not out here like making people give me a bunch of horses for one horse. So I'm just trying to help you guys understand horse trading, because that's the hardest thing for people. They don't understand. So let's give some more examples. Say you have this Andalusian, right? Now this one was a 2022 winter event. So that's now technically 2 years old. That's pretty old. It was a long ago event, and it was probably one of those rare I didn't play back then, so I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those rare horses to find from the event, like the Midnight Percheron. You couldn't just willy-nilly find these all over the island. It was a rare find. It was a good horse. So this horse would trade for an arm and a leg. Again, this horse, you'd probably have to trade a Ghost Percheron and a Monarch Percheron for, because they're both rare, older, really nice events. Now that would make sense. I would do 2 really good event horses for 1. But again, a lot of people are going to want to be greedy. They're going to want more horses. They're going to be like, oh, you have to add. Don't do it. Stick to your gut. Make sure you're not being pressured by other people to trade what you don't want to trade. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be fair. It's got to be even. They might not see eye to eye with you. They might not see that it's an equal trade when it is. Then you just don't trade with them. That's a loss. You're going to have to move on. Because so for this Andalusian, like I'm saying, I had to trade an arm and a leg. I had to trade quite a few of my old event horses. I probably traded a little too much for it. But like I said, it's an old event, and people don't understand that you don't need an arm and a leg just to get one horse out of the way. You know what I mean? So, another example. Let's do this Frisian, for example, right? So the Burgundy horses are kind of hard to find right now. They don't always show up in the market for the Valentine coins. You kind of have to spend real money on them, or you have to get lucky that you find them in the wild. But they're actually a little harder to find than the quarter horses here. These pink quarter horses right here, this one. They're a little harder to find than that. So this is definitely considered one of the more rare horses from the Valentine's event. And what makes it more rare is that it's a Frisian. If you have any like Frisian, Percheron, Fjord, or a lot of people do like thoroughbred. So if you even had a thoroughbred of this, like, that immediately racks up its value, even though it's not a super rare, hard to find horse. It is for some people, because they don't have money. They can't buy it with real money, or they may not have real time to grind all the time. Who knows? You never know, right? So it always racks up the value. So I made sure I got an extra one of these, which I sadly traded for this one. It was an arm and a leg, I tell you. But this horse, it's wishy-washy. So it all depends, like I said, on the person. It all depends on how valuable it is to somebody else, because someone might like it and they'll trade everything for it. and some people will like it, but they won't want to offer as much for it because they don't love it. They just like it. You know, it all depends. But for these, they are a little rare, and I'd say they're valuable because it's a Frisian. So a lot of people like the Frisians. I've had so many people ask me for this horse. They're like, "Can I have your horse? Is your horse for trade?" I'm like, "No, it's my only one. Sorry." I'm like, "I really like this one," and that's what I mean. It all depends on like supply and demand. Like who wants it the baddest. That will rank up its price automatically. But still, you got to make it fair. So for this horse, I would take like three lower tier event horses, or I would take one really good event horse and then one lower tier event horse. Like I'm not going to be asking an arm and a leg for it because I want to make it fair. As long as that horse that you're giving me is either way more rare than it or you're giving me a couple that are like mid tier rare, that works out. That's a good trade. And let's do another example. So let's talk about version 1s because a lot of people freak out over the version 1 Frisians and Clydesdales. And again, it's a gray area. It all depends on the supply and demand. Like how bad does that person want your version 1 horse? Because version 1s are really nice and all, but they're quite abundant. A lot of people do have the version 1 Clydesdales and Frisians. And they treat them as events because technically now they are an event horse. They're unavailable in the game. You can't go catch them. You can't go buy them. It's just what it is. So it all depends on, again, personality, color of the coat, the stats. Like, is it max speed? Like 59, I think 60 is max speed for horses. Like you can get a higher of 60 on these horses. But that's not really a big deal when it comes to version 1s because everyone only cares about the coat really and the personality and stuff. So like I said, this horse specifically is a good example because it is a version 1 Clydesdale. It is a female. It's got a good personality. It has a really nice legacy coat on it, so that's 2 legacies in one. That immediately racks up its price. But you have to find that person that really wants it. Hence, it was me this time. I really wanted that horse. I thought it was really cute. And it's double legacy. I've been trying to collect version 1 Clydesdales. So I did trade a good bit for it. I still over traded for it. I will say I over traded for it. And I regret that decision. But like I said, people are hard to trade with. I think they added... No, I don't think they added anything for it. That was for the other horse. I got this one too from one of my fans. Really appreciate they added some things with the trade because it was a lot of event horses in that trade as well. So for this horse here, let's say they wanted to give me Odette for it. They had a ghost Percheron, really pretty. I would honestly be okay with just that horse and maybe one lower tier event. That would be a perfect trade. That makes sense because I do have a double legacy, pretty Clydesdale. It's not ugly looking. It's got good personality. Because other than that, you'd have to buy a personality potion, and those are expensive. So you want to try and find horses that already have good personalities on them, which immediately racks up the price on them because of that, because you'd have to go buy it if it was like spooky or independent. Like this horse is spooky. It's automatically not the best, but I keep it because it's got max speed. It's at 100. So I'm going to buy something. I have to buy a personality pot just to get rid of it. And that costs money. It either costs 45, 50K in game if someone's selling it, or you have to buy it with like $2 of in-game, real life money. So personality matters. And I'm just trying to help you guys trade things because you guys have to understand that a lot of you, just general, a lot of people who play this game are greedy. They're being way too demanding of the trade. The trade is hard enough as it is for people because, like I said, they're all limited horses. Everyone had to either trade for it, work for it, grind for it. It's not like you can just go get another one. Like I just got rid of my deer Percheron. I really like that Percheron, but I know I can probably get another one in time. But if I trade an arm and a leg for it, I'm going to be upset because, it's not always worth that. Like take this horse, for example. This deer fawn Fjord, okay? Very nice horse, very cute. It's quite popular for some people if they like the breed. But this is one of those horses where, again, it's like a supply and demand thing. Like, who really wants it? Who's willing to trade good stuff for it? And at the end of the day, this horse is only worth so much because I can't say it was really easy to get, but the deer horses were a little more, easier to get in the winter event. Though they are cute, though, and still very popular, it helps raise the desire for them. But they were still kind of easy to find, so they're not obviously worth the best events in the world. But if you have this horse, you can still get some nice events from it. You know, like you can get a couple low mid-tier events. You could trade this for another deer horse and that obviously be fair. But because it's a fjord and because it's almost max speed, it's female, it's lazy, so it's not that bad of a personality. Lazy's a decent one. It'll still trade pretty good. I could get a couple low tier events for this one, maybe two, or I could get one good event horse that's either the same value as this one or a little better, and then I would probably add another low tier event in. You know, like you always just have to talk to the person you're trading with, like, hey, can you add something to the trade? Or hey, do you mind if I take some stuff down? Because you guys have to remember, when you're doing the trade, it's 12 and 12. You have 12 slots. Each you have 12 slots. So obviously, if you're trading for that person's horse, you're going to want to put up everything you can for them to see, not as an offer. I think that's where people are confusing it. Like, these kids don't understand that the trade is there so that people can show you what they have. Not, here's the offer, I'm going to trade you 12 horses for one. That is never, ever the case. So I'm going to start doing my trades differently because I don't like how I've been doing them lately with people, and I don't like how people are doing them with me. It's completely unfair. It makes no sense. So now, if you guys want to follow this too, like do what I'm doing, you definitely should. What I'm going to start doing is having the people show me all their horses outside of the trade. Like, you know how you can just go like this and be like, oh, here's this one, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, here's this one, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, just show them to them. Rather than getting in the trade and then putting them all up, because they're going to assume that you're okay with trading all of them, even though you're definitely not. If anybody has any other questions on trades, like if you want specific answers to your horse questions, like, oh, would this horse be good for this horse? Or, oh, would I get 3 horses out of this? Would I get 2 horses out of this? What is this worth? Well, just comment under, you know, comment below under the video. I will answer all the comments because right now I don't get too many comments on my video, so I usually see all of them. I will definitely answer all of your guys' questions because it's too hard for me to obviously go through each and every horse and give you guys examples on things, but that's basically the gist of it. Just make sure you're making it an equal trade for everybody and you're not trying to be greedy. And, you know, just remember when you're doing the trade, the stuff that they're putting up is not what they're offering you. They're just showing you what they have for trades. They want to know what you like. They want to know what you don't like. It's just easier to throw it up there. But I can't be doing that anymore, especially as a YouTuber with all these with all this lack of time that I have. Like, I don't have as much time anymore to just sit on this game and grind for horses because I have a part-time job and I have to do YouTube still and record other games and all sorts of stuff. So it, you know, sometimes it's more valuable for people to keep these events than to trade an arm and a leg for them. Like, I do really like this Andalusian, but at the same time, I shouldn't have traded as much as I did for it because my horses are just as valuable as your horses. Just because you have an event from 2022 doesn't mean I have to trade you 12 horses for it. I'm going to give you a good trade for it, but it's only going to be like, you know, like I said, the Monarch Perch, Ghost Perch, and then maybe like Cupid Fjord. You know, like those are 3 really good horses for this one. I would do that, but only 3. You know, don't go over that just because it's really old. It all depends on, like I said, supply and demand, who wants it that bad, who doesn't. Because some people will purposely overbuy, and that's super fine. Like, if you have somebody up here in the chat saying, hey, I'm looking for a Monarch Percheron horse, I will definitely overpay for it, I just really want one. That's super fine. If they're willing to overpay for it, you take it, you go for it, you know. But if they're saying, hey, I'm looking for a Monarch Perch, I want, you know, a fair trade, you make sure you give them a fair trade. You don't go try and give them a hard time because maybe they don't have a lot of events. Maybe they're like me and they have a part-time job and they can't go catch all these events like everybody else can. I'm just lucky that I have a job now and I can buy a couple of these horses. I would have never had this Percheron or this Frisian if I didn't have money. Would have never got one. They're really hard to find, actually. I'm going to say right now that the Percheron and the Frisian for the Burgundies are really rare. They're up there. I see almost nobody running around on Percherons. I've only ever seen one other person with a Burgundy Percheron. Good on them, but it's hard to find. The fjords are a little more common, but again, you have to buy them. I haven't found one in the wild. The only horses I found in the wild are like paint horses, Andalusians. They're a little more easy. They're a little less rare because they're more common. It all depends on how common they are. And again, all depends on how much the person wants the horse. I know I've said it a billion times, but I really don't think people listen to me when I say things half the time. That's why I'm repeating it to you guys. You know, replay the video if you need to, but make sure you're being fair. Now let's move on to pricing, because pricing's a whole nother story for you guys. I feel like, I don't even know where to start with the pricing. I feel like people in this game are actually worse No, trading's worse. I think people are a little better with the pricing because the pricing's wishy-washy. It all depends. Again, same thing with horses. All depends on the supply and demand, who wants it, who doesn't, what's the personality, what's the coat, blah, 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 how rare is the item, what tier is the item, is the item obsidian or is it wooden? Oh, I could go on forever. So we're going to go to my market because my market is a really good example on, fair pricing based on what the tier is, what the color is, what the desire is. So we're going to, oh, I didn't know I had stuff closed. Okay, so we're going to look at this, right? I only put it at 3,000 for a buy, and I only put it at 2,000 for a bid. And I always accept bids. If you come to my market, I will always accept a bid. That is my thing. That is my slogan, if you want to say, as a businesswoman in this game. I always accept the bids as long as it's a good bid. I'll accept it. Most of the time, I accept the minimum bid because that's how much I expect to get paid for it, anyways. So as you see, it's brown and blue, so it's not that popular of colors. It's more for a boy, maybe if they were playing the game and they like brown and blue. Not many girls are gonna like the brown and blue mix. Some could, but maybe not. And that's why I priced it lower. Also because this is a common item right now. You can find these no problem from the fountain. I mean, Cupid. Probably the fountain too, but mostly Cupid. If you go to Cupid, you'll definitely get one of these eventually. It might be a different color. But because it's also still accessible, I had to lower the price for that as well. So now we're going to look at this horse here. Now, even though this horse is obviously still accessible in the game, you can find it in the wild if you hunt enough, or you can buy it with Valentine coins if you find it in a shop. It is still an event horse. It's just a lower tier event horse. So I put it at 30,000 because, like I said, I always accept bids and I make sure people know that. I put it right there on my sign, accept bids on everything. So people know that they only have to spend 30K. They don't have to spend the 40K. That's really just a generosity thing. Like, if you feel like you want to give me some more money, go right ahead. That's obviously appreciated. If you feel like somebody's going to come along and steal the bid because I go AFK, you can buy it for 40K. I won't blame you. But a lot of the times I just go AFK and I'll accept your bid when I get back. But a lot of the times I think people get nervous that I'm not going to come back, so they'll buy it. I mean, I appreciate that, but I do just go AFK a lot. So that's why that's 30K. It's a reasonable price. It's low for an event horse, but it's not super high. I'll probably keep it the same after the event too. I'm not going to raise it too much. We'll see. Now this here I priced really high because this is a fountain item. The fountain gives you more rare items, and it is double shiny blue diamond, so they're similar colors. Not the best color mix, but not the worst. I mainly just did it because it's a floating cloud aurora, so that immediately ups the price on it because it is a rare aurora item. Again, you only have to spend 7K. I might lower it depending because it's not the most favorable colors. I might lower it. We'll see how it goes. But once the event's over, I can rack it back up, honestly. You guys gotta remember, as soon as any event is over and you give it a good enough bit of time, you can rack stuff up no problem. I could sell that for 15K if I really want. So now we're gonna go over to this piece because this is one of my lower tier items. I just kind of put up here for people with less money to have something to buy. It's clear quartz. So clear quartz in this game is actually really pretty. It's a light see-through pink. It goes with a lot of stuff. And it is a tail bow. So the tail bows are more desired in my opinion because the head bows, you can't see, you can't always see the head bows. I know I'm in the worst spot right now for my horse. Holy crap. Okay, let's just back up. Ugh. There's the head bow right there. You can barely see it. They always angle it weird. I hate, and I mean hate with a passion, where these head pieces are on these damn horses. I hate that the bow goes right there. It makes no sense. Who would put a bow like this over their eyeball? If I had a horse in real life, I would never do that. I would probably angle it more onto the bridle and I'd twist it to the right more and back it up. It's just such a terrible, weird spot. But the red you can't really see on this, so I put it there because it's kind of hidden. So tail bows to me are more desirable because you can see the tail bow a lot better on your horses and they're out there more, they're bigger. So I put it at 1,500. That's usually a really good price for clear quartz because in the market they're probably 800 or something, but they don't always show up, so you can price it a little higher if you're trying to sell it. And then you don't always have to buy it, but I put it at 2,200 just to give a little bit of range for people. And then we're going to move on to the thoroughbred. So like I said, the thoroughbred's a little easier to find right now. People are catching them a lot in the wild if they hunt enough for it, and you can buy them for Valentine coins, but usually they go for 3,000 Valentine coins. They're not always that cheap. And this thoroughbred has green hair, so it does match the body, which was a plus. And it is close to 100 max speed. It's at 90, and it's a female, so I took that into consideration. I know it is independent, but that's not the worst. I think Spooky's probably the worst personality you can get. So I put it at 50K because it is still a higher tier event horse right now. And if you don't want to go spend like 3,000 Valentine coins on it, you can spend 50K here. I'm going to leave it up like that for a while, see if it sells. If not, I'll probably just switch it out and put a different horse up. But that's a reasonable price right now for the thoroughbred, just because, like I said, you can buy it. I mean, yeah, you can still buy it in game. Once the event's over, I'm immediately racking that up though to like 80K. We'll see. And then this here, so wagons are a big thing for me. I love buying the wagons in the markets and then selling them at my market because most of the time, um, the wagons are kind of different compared to accessories. The wagons are like a 1 in 100 chance. So, you know, the wagons refresh every like 20 minutes or so in game, and it'll only be 3 wagons at a time, and you have to pick and choose the style. Sometimes, like, the design of the wagon will be different that spawns. And then you got to look at color as well. You know, if the color matches, it's automatically going to rack up the price. So, as you see for this one, it's amethyst and pink pearl. Those are 2 really pretty, really nice, what are we going to call them? Material, gem and material in this game. So if you have a wagon, and I really like this kind of wagon because it's old fashioned looking, it's cute, you know, it reminds me of like the old Western days. So if you have a purple amethyst and a pink pearl mix on a wagon, that immediately racks the price up on it. And if you buy it, you can sell it for a higher price at your market because, like I said, it's a 1 in 100 chance that this is going to show up. I have not seen this wagon in the market since. You know what I mean? Because for the wagons, there's so many RNG varieties, and as you guys know, RNG means random number generator. So in the game, it'll randomly generate, you know, wagon colors and the wagon model and the wagon tier, like material, all in one. So that's a lot of options for the game to give us. And that's why it's so rare when you find certain wagons, because they're not going to show up again. There's just so many options for the game to give us. It's probably not going to give you the same option twice, except for once in a while. You know, it's going to be harder to find. So I'll buy a wagon. I probably bought this one for like 3,000, so I'm selling it for 4,000. I'm only lowering it right now because I'm feeling nice. It really depends on how pretty it looks, and because they're not double matching, I'm lowering it a little bit as well because I always accept bids. So I would prefer 6,000, but I'll take 4,000 for sure. Another good example for wagons, let me take one out because I have a good one in here. So let's look at this one, right? This is a shiny pink and a pearl. Now this looks pretty. This is really pretty. This is really nice. It's got the shiny pink, got the pearl. That's a good mix. I would sell that for 6K, hands down, right now, because that's not going to show up again in the market. Good luck finding that again in the market, you know what I mean? That's not going to show up. So that's why I bought it, because then other people will realize, oh, I'm not going to find that in the market. Good luck. So they'll come to my market and buy it. And I'm not super overpricing it. It is a reasonable price. Again, I probably bought this one for like 3,000, but because it's so pretty and really nice material, I'm selling it for 6,000. But I don't think I'm even going to sell this one. I like it so much, I think I'm keeping it. And then there's these wagons, of course. This is a limited heart carriage from the game. It is an event carriage. It was pricey. I had to spend like $5 on it. So if I were to ever sell this in game, it would 100% be sold for like 60K, to be honest. I'd sell it pretty pricey because it is really pretty. It's black, black pearl, and the gray. You don't even really notice the gray when it's there. It blends right in perfectly. So the black and the black pearl mix is so nice. It's super good for my goth side that I have sometimes, my little edgy side. And then there's this one, which is the red pearl and the white. Again, really good mix. It's red pearl, red pearl. So if you can find any pearl on a wagon, it's a really good wagon because it always leaves that shiny color to it, and it changes colors in the sun. It's valuable. I like it. It's really pretty. So I would sell that for, again, like 5,500 or even 6,000 because it's a prettier wagon. Like, people, it all depends on the person again. Some people like the old-fashioned wagons more. Some people like the fancy, like, Dutch wagon more. It all depends. So that's a little bit on vehicles for you guys if you ever want to, like, make some good money. If you can afford to buy a wagon for like 4,000 in the store and then resell it for like 6 or 7,000, you're still making a profit. So that's what's good about the vehicles. Now let's look at like island decor. So say I wanted to sell this green heart here, right? It's a pretty heart. Quite a few other people do have them right now though, so you'd probably only be able to sell one for like 4,000. Still a good price, but once the event's over, again, rack that bitch up. You can sell it for like 10,000 because it's an island decor, so it's really valuable for people if they want to decorate their island. And it's a limited event. I'd even sell it, depending on what color you have, I'd sell it for more. If I had like if I had a pink pearl, a red pearl, if I had an obsidian one, that's immediately going up to at least 15 or 20K after the event. Not during the event, but after. You gotta remember, once an event's over, everything gets pricier. So let's put another item up for you guys just to see a couple more prices here, because everybody gets dyes confused. So let's look at these hair dyes, right? So look at oh, I don't want to sell them actually, because I don't want to do that. Look at these burgundy hair dyes, okay? I've been telling people in my last video, do not sell these. Please do not overprice these. I don't even know why people are trying to sell them, but they're scamming you. They're either generally, you know, younger and don't understand pricing, or they're straight up trying to scam you and they're being stupid, because scammers are stupid. Don't ever get scammed, people. So I saw some people in my last video selling these dyes for $10,000 or even $30,000. Do not do that, because you can get these burgundy dyes in the store right now for 800 in-game coin. Only 800. You could sell a couple horses and get 800. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. So that's a little bit on dyes right now. Say you're trying to sell the pink gold fade right now, because it's still during the event's still going. You can still get these in game with like 900 valentine coins, so they're not super valuable yet. But if you sell two of these right now, two of them go for about 30K right now. You can sell two pink gold fade dyes for 30K, maybe 40K. Like, you could make your bid price 30K, make the buy price 40K, because that's reasonable. You can still get them in game. They are cute, but they're not limited yet, so that's a reasonable price. Now, once the event's over, you can immediately sell these for 60 to 80K. I usually put my bid price at 60. I'll put my buy price at like 70, because they're a limited event hair dye. They're pretty and valuable. So it all depends on if the event's going or if the event's not going. You know what I mean? So, like, take this fiery sunset fade, for example. This was from the last year's summer event, and I sadly only have one, because they are hard to find and really hard to get. I don't know, I never can find a second one, so I've just been holding on to this one because I do want to use it. So I could sell one of these, right, for 50,000 if I'm really feeling it. People will buy it. It is worth that price, because again, you're using this dye to style your horse, and that's your horse that you're going to be using all the time, running around, showing it off. It's a valuable item. Plus, they were pricey during the event, probably, like just like the ones we have now. They're 900 coin for one. That is kind of pricey. So that's why you can sell one limited event dye for so high of a price, because it is worth it and it is pretty. Now, if we're talking more of like this lime dye, say, because I just bought this from the store for a couple bucks, you know, real life money. I don't know why I keep saying real in-game money. It's real life money. Bought this with Robux. I would probably only sell two of them for 40 to 50K. I wouldn't do 60 to 80K, because it was only worth technically like $3, I think. It was like $3 in real life money I spent on these dyes. And they are cute, but they're not the cutest. Not everybody likes green and yellow, like yellowish green mixed. So it lowers it a little bit. I'd probably sell two for like 40 to 50K, which is still really good, but, you know, not amazing. So that's another example for you guys. Say you buy a dye in the store, like the purple fade. I would only sell the purple fade for like 50K, just because purple is a little more valuable. I do like 50, 55. Ghost dye, on the other hand, whew, you can rack that up big, because again, ghost horses and ghost dyes are really popular in this game, always will be. They're very high value, and they're very popular. And remember when I said supply and demand, it all depends on how much somebody wants that. And a lot of people usually want the ghost stuff. So I could sell one ghost purple, because it's the ghostly purple hair dye. I could sell that for like 50K just for one. Just like this one, I could sell this for like 50K, because people really like it. And it all just depends. Now, these dyes here, as you can see, the red and the green, I bought these from the store, so I would never sell them. I just have them purely to put on horses when I sell them in the market sometimes. Like, say I got this horse in here, right? And say it had, like, some ugly color on it that didn't match. Say it had, like, brown hair. I would be like, no, I'd probably put, like, some red hair dye on it, or some pink if I went and bought the pink one. I just do it to make it look nicer so people want to buy it more. I actually didn't put the pink dye on this it just came like that. So that worked out. You know, it's at least pink matching. So I guess that's some pretty good examples, I'd say, of pricing things. I think I should do a little more pricing on horses, though, because people don't understand how to price horses, and that's something I really got to work on with you guys. So I'm here to help. Well, let's start on horse pricing, and then we'll be done. So let's say I'm selling this. Oh, I really got to get out of that market. Let's say I'm selling this horse here. It's a legacy coat, black Percheron, you know, almost max speed. It's got a good personality. It's 17 hands high. You know, it's all generally a very good horse, and it's a legacy coat. So again, you can't get those coats anymore. You have to breed for them. So I would probably sell this horse for 10,000 because again, it's a Percheron, which is a very popular breed. It's got good personality. It's got almost max speed. It's a legacy coat, so automatically 10K. You know what I mean? That's a good price. If I put that up for 10K, someone would buy it. It may take a little bit of time. You guys got to be patient with that stuff, but 10K is good. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to sell things cheap, by all means, go right ahead. I'm not, you know, nobody's ever going to complain about something being too cheap. They might tell you like, hey, just letting you know it's a little cheap in case you didn't know, because I will do that if, some people really don't know. I feel like I need to tell them because I feel bad, you know, I want to like help them because some people purposely sell things cheap to be nice or just to get rid of it, but some people really don't know that they're underpricing it. So let's say someone had this Percheron again, you know, legacy coat, really good personality, good speed, blah blah blah, and they're only selling this for like 3,000. I'd be like, whoa, that's way too low. 3,000, way too low for this horse. I'd be like, I'd be like, hey, just letting you know, you can sell this for more. I'll still buy it, you know, stuff like that. But some people are okay with it. They'd be like, oh no, it's fine. I just want to sell it, right? Then it's all good. I'll buy it. So it all depends on, I guess, the person and how much they're confident in their pricing. So I'm here to help you guys be more confident in what you're selling because I feel like a lot of the problems is I gotta fix this hair, sorry. Oh, it's bothering my neck. A lot of the problems with this game is actually that people are just scared they're pricing it wrong, or they're worried that if they overprice it, people won't buy it. They will. They 100% will. Like I said, supply and demand is big in these games because there's no set price on things. Now, the game will tell you there is a limit that you can sell certain horses at. Like, it won't let you go under that limit. Let me try and show you guys an example. Let's try and do this one. We'll do 100. Okay, maybe I was... Oh, no, there we go. See, okay, it raised it for me. So, as you see, I just tried to put this horse for 100 coin. And it's not 100. It's clearly 4,000. So that's the lowest I can sell that horse is 4,000. So the game's like kind of helping you out, but not really. They don't want you to give your stuff away for free, so they do that. But obviously that horse is nowhere near worth $100. This horse is my horse actually that I'm trying to sell or trade for. I just kind of have it, and it's definitely worth a lot more. So the game will kind of let you know that, like if you're trying to sell a horse cheap and it doesn't let you, you know it's worth more. It'll definitely let you know. So let's look at, we already kind of talked about event horses, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. Let's say I did want to sell my Arabian horse here, right? My Arabian Equinox, but it's a spooky, but it is female, you know, like it's got good stuff, it's got bad stuff. It's almost max speed, it's 80. I think the max Arabian speed is 85, but it is an event horse, so it's lucky enough that it has 80 because that's hard enough to find. And so I would definitely sell this horse for 100,000 in my market. 100,000 flat. I'd make the buy price maybe like 120,000, maybe even 150,000. Again, it depends on personality, hair color, and this one is flaxen, so flaxen is one of the more like rare hair colors per se, because you can only get it through breeding, or if you buy it, I think you can maybe buy it with real money. So it's a little rare, and then of course the horse itself is rare, so you can automatically price older event horses for big money. Let's say I wanted to sell my Arabian. This is mine, I'm never going to sell it. It's 85 max speed, it's energetic, you know, it's got the love fade dye, it's got the rare dye, and everything's special. So I would sell this for 100, almost like $170,000 I'd sell this for. I came across one person who I actually got my Odette from here, my Ghost Percheron. She was selling it for 170,000, and that completely was fine. Like I said, rare ghost horse, female, easygoing. I don't think I changed its personality. I did change its height though to 18.3. God, this thing's making me itchy. That's so dry lately, guys. But that made sense. So what I ended up doing was I gave her like $130,000, but I also traded her a rare version 1 Clydesdale, version 1 Frisian. So because I gave her the version 1 Frisian and the 130K, that was a huge equal out, it worked out, did good. So you can always try and negotiate with people, but most of the time these event horses are going to be really pricey, and do not be afraid to price them that way. They are worth it. They're pricey horses. That's just how it is. Don't feel bad if some kid comes up to you and says, "Hey, I don't have that kind of money. I only have like 20,000." I'd be like, "Too bad. You're way under your league for this horse." You know what I mean? You got to go grind for it. You got to make money. So we also have, like, for example, I'll do one more event horse. Let's do, I'm running out of event horses, honestly. Let's just do a version 1, right? So I've got this version 1 Clydesdale, technically an event horse now. People consider it an event horse. I consider it, an event horse because it's easier just to say that, because kids get confused between like version 1 Clydesdales and version 1 Frisians, and then like events. They'll be like, what's the difference? They're basically the same thing at this point, so I just call it that. Obviously, the pricing differs. Like if I have a female, almost maxed speed, cute, dapple, gray, legacy again, double legacy horse going on here, I would sell this in my market for probably 60 to 80K. All depends again on like supply and demand, who really wants it, who doesn't, how cute is it, what's the coat, blah, blah, blah. But because the coat is good and it's a cute horse, it's got nice speed, it's got a decent personality, it's not going to be spooked at everything, I would definitely sell this for at least 60K in my market. I think that'd be a good price, even 70K, because you really want to get your money out of a legacy horse, because again, you can't get these in game anymore. They're rare, especially with the legacy coat. It all depends on what you're comfortable with pricing it at, but 60 to 80K is good pricing for sure. I've seen people sell their Clydesdales for like 30,000, and that is definitely underpricing them. If you have a version 1 Clydesdale and it's got a decent coat on it and it's, got nice stats, sell that bitch for higher. Like, don't be afraid. So now to regular horses, because this is also where people get a little wishy-washy with pricing. So let's say you've got this horse here, right? Max speed, 70 is the max speed a Frisian can get. It is independent, so that automatically lowers it because people don't like independent horses when they don't follow you. But it is a long flaxen fade, and the flaxen fade is a hair dye you have to buy. You can't just go get it. And then it is a Pearl Sabino, which is a breeding unique, which is really hard to get, especially on a Frisian. So even though, in these cases, even though it's an independent horse, I still sell this for 10K. Only because, again, breeding unique and long flaxen fade. So I had to put time and money just to get this horse to come out this way. And it's max speed. I would even say 12K if I'm feeling good that day and I'm like, yeah, I need the money. 12,000 for this horse. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to price it that high because of its independent personality. It's not the worst personality. It's not gonna at least run away from you and get scared. It's just not gonna follow you. That's fine. You can always, if you guys are ever struggling with an independent horse, just hit ride. Say you get off your horse, right? I'm gonna get off the horse. I'm running over here. Horse doesn't follow me. Blah, blah, blah. I'll go way over here. Oh, I got somebody here. What's up? So I'm going to go way over here. My horse is chilling, and then I hit ride, right? I'm going to hit ride. You can do that. Boom. Easy. It'll come right to you. It's technically coming right to you. So you don't even have to really worry about the independent stat. So I would sell this horse for 12,000 because look how pretty it is. It's got the flaxen hair. It's a Frisian. They're valuable. Let's see. What else do I got? Let's say, oh wait, I can't actually hit sell on that. There we go. Let's say I've been working on a project recently. I will show you guys. So right here, right, this specifically, like I said, flaxen is a rare dye. I mean, is a rare color. You can't actually buy the blonde flaxen. You can buy the flaxen fade dye, but you can't buy flaxen hair. You have to actually breed for this. Look how bright it is. You can't even see it because it's so bright. Oh no, I'm in the water. That didn't go well. I'm trying to get in the shade so you guys can see it a little more. There we go. Okay, so look at this beautiful horse, right? It's a Cremello, which is still a really good coat. I don't think it would have said island unique if it was an island unique, obviously, right? Yeah, okay, so it's not an island unique, but it's a pretty coat because it's a little more uncommon. and it looks really good with the flaxen hair. I really like the long flaxen hair on it because it looks like a Prince Charming horse, you know? It's just the blonde is so pretty, and it's definitely better than Palomino in my opinion for this type because it just looks really nice. I also have it on a white coat, which is hard to do. Let me find the white one. Is this it? Yep, flaxen. Okay, so look at this. Again, it's like Prince Charming type horse. They always have the white horses with the blonde hair or the white horses with the white hair. So this, to me, is pretty valuable in its own because of the fact that, A, I had to spend time and money to get a white Frisian, let alone white Frisian with good stats, and a white Frisian with flaxen hair. That was so hard to do, guys. I don't think you understand. Like, breeding gets so hard in this game when you're doing it by yourself. So automatically, again, 10K. 10K for this horse, hands down, because it's a white Frisian. It's got blonde flaxen hair, which is, again, hard to breed for, especially hard to get on a Frisian of all things. Once you put anything on a Frisian, it's already racked its price up, because the Frisians and the Percherons are, like, the best models in the game. People love them. So it really racks it up, and on top of that, you know, usually they'll have decent personalities, decent stats. So 10K for these. I'll always sell these for at least 10K because of the flaxen hair, because you can't get this blonde on anything. You know, it was really hard for me to find a flaxen horse that I could start breeding. I've been through a long line of breeding, I tell you what. I went through so many horses and so much money. I've probably spent over $100,000 just trying to breed specific Frisians, let alone other horses. But I've spent a lot of money because each breeding is usually like 3,000 to 4,000 each time, and then you have to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it just to get like the perfect horse. So it definitely racks up. I think that's pretty good explanations on these. Obviously, if you have good breeding uniques like this coat, even though it's on an Appaloosa, you can sell it for like 7,000 to 8,000 because it is still a really nice, rare breeding unique coat. Not a lot of people can just go get that, you know. So you can still sell it for good money. Especially on the Arabian here, I've got the Arabian Sooty Buckskin. That's immediately going up to like 15,000 just because it's a really rare breeding unique and it's got almost max speed, energetic. It really just depends on how confident you are with the selling. Of course, if you guys don't feel confident, you can sell things for lower prices. That's up to you. But just know that somebody will come along and they will buy your horse. It will take time. It doesn't always happen right away. But just make sure you're server hopping consistently. You know, like give it about 10 maybe 15 minutes per server. You know, I'll always put out, I haven't even put it out here, I'll be like, check my T8 market, I accept bids. I'll give it a few minutes, see if anybody shows up, and then I'll go do my own thing. I'll give it 10 minutes, I'll come back, and if nobody's bought in anything, I'll say it one more time, I'll be like, check my T8 market, I accept bids, I've got cute horses. You know, I'll add something to it because people are lazy and they won't always come check out your market. Some people do, you know, they'll just shop all day, but some people don't, and you have to be like, oh, I have this breeding unique horse up, come check it out. Then that more intrigues people to come see it because maybe they're busy grinding and catching horses, but then they see you have that for sale, they're like, oh, I'll come check it out. So just make sure you're typing in your chat occasionally what you have for sale, if you accept bids or not, how cheap things are. Like you can say cheap things for sale, you know, like that always gets people's attention. But I always say I accept bids because I don't sell cheap things, but I will accept your bid. So that's a plus, right? So I always put that up. I guess that's all I can really say. Be confident in what you're selling. Make sure you're selling things at a reasonable price. Again, if anybody has specific questions on anything price related or marketing related, just anything under the sun, trading related, put it in the comments. I will answer your questions for you there. Try not to blow up my Roblox with DMs. I probably won't even look at them. I don't look at my Roblox much. I just kind of get in the game, you know. So if you see me in game, you can ask me questions in here. If I'm not AFK, I'll probably see it. Yep, comment down below. I think that's really everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and this like better helped you understand how to trade horses, how to sell horses, and how to sell items and trade items. Now, trading items, I'm not really going to go over because that's, again, just, that's completely whatever you're feeling. When you want to trade items, that's just kind of whatever you think looks nice. Like, again, supply and demand, whatever you're looking for, whatever they're looking for, if it's an event item, if it's not. Some people will trade horses for specifically just event items, and that's completely their thing. You know, if they want to do that, you go right ahead. Just always make sure it's fair enough for both of you. I think that was all I really had to say. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I will always answer because I want people to understand this more. And like I said, start doing the trades like I'm going to start doing them, and just start throwing the horses out before you actually get into the trade, because then they're going to want like a million horses from you. And we're not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. You guys shouldn't do that anymore. We're not going to be over trading for horses that should be equally traded. And, until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.